Hey everyone, welcome back to Columbia City. You're currently looking at a collab build right now, this freeway park area that we're going to talk about a little bit later from MrChoco. But in this episode, we're going to work in the area around here, and we're going to be filling in a bunch of the gaps that I've left in between episodes so that the city looks more complete. And we're also going to be talking about some updates. So let's get straight into it. Alright, welcome back folks. If you're new, this is a series where we're building a gargantuan Pacific Northwest city that's way too detailed, which sort of segues me into the updates that I was talking about before. So if you're following me on Twitter, I can't speak today, bear with me. If you're following me on Twitter, you may know that I have been ranting a lot about my crashes that I've been getting recently. So, yeah. Columbia City is going to be going on a little bit of a hiatus, and I'll sort of go into details on that in the next couple of minutes here. But the long story short, I've been expanding a lot recently in the city, and I've also been adding a lot of assets sort of irresponsibly, and I need to decrease my asset count significantly and figure out some maybe graphic settings I can change to make the city more playable. Because I'm at the point right now where I cannot have a browser window open. Like if I have Firefox open, 5 minutes later my game will crash. Just like not even looking at the whole city, it's just my game crashes. So I need to figure out how I can make that better, because it's literally taking me 20 hours to make a video now. It's a long time, more than it should be. And it's not that sustainable, so I want to fix that because I don't want to quit this series. Like, genuinely, this series is my favorite project I've ever made on this channel, and generally in City Skylines. It amazes me some of the cinematic shots that I'm able to get here, and just how the city's filling in. And I don't want to quit Columbia City, so I need to save it, and that requires a hiatus. So think of this as saving Columbia City. I'm going to be starting a new city. I have decided on what it's going to be. It's going to be a European project. I've sort of been alluding to the fact that I'm going to be doing a European project next for a while now. I just didn't know when that was going to start, whether it was going to start now or later or anything of the sort. I just realized pretty recently, like, my crashes have been going up a ton, and I joked with MrChoco that I would totally just blame him if Columbia City started crashing all the time and made me want to build some sort of vanilla city. Fortunately, he doesn't get blamed here because, first of all, I'm not going to be building a vanilla city. It will not be vanilla. But then also, Columbia City is crashing for reasons other than the 5,000 procedural objects that I placed in his collab build. It's crashing because the crashes have been happening a lot more recently, and it's just I added 3 collab builds at once and added a lot to the city, so it's happening even more. But I've just been adding tons and tons to the city every single episode, and it's adding up to a point where I need to review where I'm at right now. I don't think they're going to be, like, I don't think they're going to be 70 more Columbia City videos. I don't know how long this series is going to last, but I'm going to keep it going for as long as I can, and I'm going to be taking this little break from it. I don't know how long it's going to be. I have no idea. Maybe I'll be back in like a month. Maybe I'll be back in 2 months. Maybe I'll be back in 2 weeks. Who knows? The last one there's a little bit unlikely, but yeah, you won't see Columbia City videos basically until I've figured out a way to extend the life of the series for a while, and yeah, that's the current plan. So as a result, in this video, we're going to have 3 collab builds featured at the end, rather than just 1 like we have been for the last couple videos, because we had a couple videos, or a couple collab builds from, we've got 3 different creators who are going to be showcased here. First of all, we're going to have MrChoco, who built that freeway park area. We're going to have WhataWhiff, who sort of redid our stadium area by what's going to be the harbor, and then we have DesignCandy, who built a huge mall. We're going to show those all later in the video, and we'll have some discussion with those creators and their wonderful builds. But point is, I put all 3 of them in one video because I wanted to make sure that, just in case, because there's a non-zero chance that whenever I go back to open Columbia City, it won't open or something like that. I want to make sure that when I'm, taking this break right now, I've got all of these sort of loose ends tied. And that means finishing these collab builds up, but don't take that the wrong way. There's very unlikely Columbia City's going anywhere. But yeah, lots of updates there. But yeah, I really think you guys are going to love the European project that I'm going to be doing. Once again, I'm not going to tell you what it's based off of specifically, but I think you're gonna really enjoy it. No hints either. The only hint is that I've sort of given is I'm going to be able to, like, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be subscribed to a couple hundred things in the Steam Workshop. Like, it's not going to be vanilla at all. I can't see myself using basically any vanilla assets. It's just that I'm not going to be subscribed to too much, and I'm going to be able to reuse a lot of stuff. And then another tactic I'm going to try to do is I'm going to unsubscribe from vanilla assets. No, I'm going to remove a bunch of the vanilla assets that I have just in the content manager so that loading screen mod doesn't load them. Or maybe there's an option in loading screen mod to do that. I haven't explored loading screen mod enough, but it might be useful here. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to disable a bunch of DLCs as well. Like, it's going to be as lightweight as I possibly can while still having, like, it be a modded city. It's not going to be Marble Mountain lightweight. Well, you'll see once it comes around. I haven't exactly decided what the balance is going to be, but it's going to be less lightweight than Marble Mountain, which is functionally vanilla adjacent. This is not going to be a vanilla adjacent. It's just I'm going to use a bunch of different tricks to try to get it to be as low on mods as possible. And I think the frame rate's going to hold up for a little while. There's a chance that I'll be able to release save games to the public as well as for patrons every like couple episodes, but I'm not going to do that initially. We'll see if that ends up being sustainable as we move forward. But anyway, I can't wait to get started on that. I think you guys are really going to love it. Okay, with that out of the way, we can get started with today's episode, which is basically where we're filling in a lot of space that I've left open in between other builds that I've made in the city. And this episode was sort of a long time coming. I had no idea when I was going to do this, but I figured it was about time, though, because there were a lot of builds that were separated by not too much, and I needed a transition between them. Like right now we're building the transition between Chinatown and Gilmour Hill, as we're calling it, right over sort of to the north, maybe northeast of downtown basically. And this is like in between, yeah, like the Chinatown and the Central Park area, if you know where that is. And I'm just trying to transition it because near Central Park there's some lower density residential, and I'm sort of trying to have the feel here where this main avenue is being upzoned, but a lot of the stuff around it isn't quite being upzoned yet, and the district between Chinatown and Gilmour Hill, Central Park, whatever you want to call it, is getting completely gentrified. So that's sort of the idea here. It works out pretty well. There are a lot of weird angles because this avenue is pretty wide, and I have it on like a curve here, but those trees that you're seeing in the middle of the avenue to the left there are the hardwood trees by Grey Flame, which are absolutely amazing, and this is the first time I've gotten the opportunity to use them, and I totally love them. The best thing about them is they're really, really uniform when you place them together, and they cluster super well, and they look really lush and full, and the color is really consistent with a lot of the other trees around them. They look great, and I'm going to use those a lot, both in this city and in the next project that I work on. Hint, hint. Oh yeah, another thing I forgot to mention, this video is not being premiered. It is being like uploaded, and I'm not going to schedule it. I'm just going to make it public just so patrons can see it for the longest time. But like, point is, there's no premiere on this video. If you're wondering, the premiere feature is basically where when a video goes out initially, it sort of works like a stream and people can talk in the live chat. The problem with it is, first of all, the quality is really bad for those who are watching it during the premiere. Second of all, apparently it shows the video as streamed in YouTube recommendations, and I'm curious as to whether or not making it just public like a normal video. I mean, it is a normal video, but just making it public like you normally would a YouTube video, I'm wondering if that'll change the performance of it. I'm just curious, so I'm going to try that for this video and probably the next couple of videos. And yeah, I'm also going to try to come up with a specific upload time every week that I can put videos out, so you guys are able to be ready for that. Although I'm not going to decide on that quite yet, because I'm moving in, oh wow, less than 3 weeks. What? I'm moving in less than 3 weeks. So I have to get myself together, and once I've moved, I'm going to try to come up with a specific upload time that you guys can expect videos at, because I think that would be pretty wise. But yeah, so right now we're filling in a little bit of the space by the train station. There are parking garages here for the train station. I haven't connected them to the train station itself yet. There's like this plaza area sunken down there. I'm not going to be detailing that. I'm not going to be detailing the waterfront there. The waterfront itself, you saw like the amusement park pier over there. That's there temporarily. I might move it back to downtown. We're just going to see, because Seabud made some amazing wharves, or well, one wharf so far. Apparently, there's at least one more coming. The one that exists like has color variations, so I might be able to get away with just using it. But for downtown, it's like an angled 45-degree wharf, which is exactly what I needed for Columbia City here. So hopefully that ends up working out when I try to implement that close to downtown, and I think I'll be able to move the amusement park pier back and adjust the angle a little bit back to where it was supposed to be. It'll look really cool, and Siba did an excellent job with that, so definitely grab that. That'll be in the description. Okay, so at this point, Chinatown is basically connected to Central Park and Gilmour Hill, and what we're going to do now is we're going to have one final portion here of time-lapse. We're going to cross the highway. Alright, we've moved across the highway, and as you can see from those cinematics, what we just did over there really filled in a lot of space well, and it transitioned between the two neighborhoods pretty smoothly. Pretty happy with that. Anyway, Q&A time. So if you're not aware, if you live under a rock, the Q&A portion is a portion where, well, guess what? I do a question and answer segment every video, and you can ask questions in the comments with hashtag Q&A. Just make sure you're not asking me, will you build this very specific project in the future? Probably not. I probably won't. You can suggest stuff in the comments to possibly build as like a mini project or something, but yeah, keep the Q&A to questions that I can answer in a video. Alright, starting off here with Mac and Cheese, who asks, being a city building lover, which North American city do you believe is the best? Transport, crime, sustainability / environmental, etc. Okay, so speaking strictly off of those criteria, transport, crime, sustainability, probably Vancouver. In terms of like planning, it's really good. I mean, I don't think you can argue too much with that, like just the way the downtown integrates with other parts of the city, transportation wise, bike infrastructure, it's just really good. However, I think there are a lot of other cities that are on good trajectories, like Portland has been on a good trajectory for a really long time. And then obviously in terms of transportation, like you have to look at New York City, Boston, as cities that, like, you could probably live in like a couple major cities in the US without a car, being New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston. Like those are cities you can live without a car, and SF itself if you use Uber and stuff, probably. But it's, yeah, like there are a lot of different criteria to balance. The problem is all those places I just mentioned are super unaffordable. There are affordable places that are sort of underrated, where you can't necessarily live without a car, but like places like Pittsburgh, beautiful city, not usually considered one of the best cities in the United States, but it's a city that is really beautiful, but is also affordable at the same time. So there are a lot of different criteria to balance here, and I think affordability is one when we're talking about the best cities that isn't mentioned that often. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too much of an expert on this, but those are some examples, I guess. And then, once again, you can choose the best city based off all these different criteria. It's impossible to just choose one here. It really depends on the criteria that you use and what you value. Okay, next question here from Mark Sato. Why don't you use asymmetrical roads? Because I don't have network extensions downloaded in this city, as crazy as that sounds. I didn't really have too much of a need for it. you know, starting off, and especially considering I'm not using Roads United anymore, it doesn't serve too much of a purpose for me. So I don't have network extensions downloaded. I just use different roads from the workshop, and I figure I could, you know, use some American asymmetrical roads, but I'll do that in the future. I'm also going to use some asymmetrical roads in the suburbs for, like, large arterials so that there are turn lanes and stuff like that. Yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Next question here from FST Gaming. When will the sister city across the bay be built? So I'm planning on building a Portland-inspired area across the bay, if I can actually get over there and have the frame rate to do so. But right now, I'm focused on just working on the core of Columbia City and maybe some of the suburbs. That is probably last priority, especially considering all of the crashes I was talking about earlier. I want to just build out this city itself as far as I can go before I work on that, so I'm not sure. Final question here from Mano Yudi. How long does it take for you to load the game? How many assets do you have? I ask these because I have a decent rig with 32 gigabytes of RAM and it takes about 1 hour to load, and even on a blank map I don't get more than 20 FPS. Also, thanks for doing collab with other upcoming YouTubers. It was my first Q&A question, and already 2 have been collaborated since then. Yeah, thanks so much for suggesting that back when you did, Mano. I never really thought of it, but it's been excellent doing it so far. And in terms of loading the game, it takes about 10 minutes, but that's in addition to like 2 minutes even just getting to the home screen because of the Paradox launcher. But yeah, like 10 minutes right now, and it really depends on what project I'm loading. Like Calavera Beach will take 4 minutes, and it depends on a lot of things, and I'm hoping to get that number down to like 2 minutes for the next project, hopefully, and hopefully that'll decrease crashes as well. But yeah, it depends on the amount of assets you got and like how big the city is, like how much has got to be loaded, stuff like that. And it's getting sort of bad, but not as bad as it is for other people, I guess. Anyway, let's get into the first collab with MrChoco. All right, welcome MrChoco to the channel. So you want to tell us a little bit about what you do on your own channel first before we get started?
Yes, I'm MrChoco and I'm making City Skylines, Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster videos. Usually in City Skylines I'm focusing more on big complex infrastructure using heavily modded game and tons of PO. Press can tell you that.
Yep.
I'm working on a City Skylines project based on Tel Aviv and other cities in Israel. That's coming to my channel very soon.
What you've built us here is this freeway park sort of build. If you guys aren't aware, Freeway Park is this park in Seattle where the freeway sort of goes under it. And it was a build that I never really did because it looked way too complicated to capture in game. But I think I was just intimidated by the infrastructure around it. But you did a spectacular job here. The amount of detail is ridiculous. But it took us quite literally an entire day to import this with PO and move it.
Yeah, it was pretty long process, but at the end it pretty much worked out almost perfectly.
Yeah, it took us so long because like all of these decals that you're looking at right now are PO'd. Like this is all PO. Like there are like 5,000 PO items that I had to import because this guy's crazy and he has to make everything PO. Everything has to be PO. And it wasn't importing it all at once. It took a long time to get exactly right, but wow, this is the best build in the entire city. Like this is easily the best build in the city. It looks so good. It's got this like convention center up above.
Yeah.
There's going to be sort of a freeway light rail station. I haven't built it quite yet, but that'll be in a future video, and that'll be right near it. But it's got like the construction site like connecting directly to it, and like all these stairs and invisible paths.
Yeah, it's all working together. And the idea is that this park is pretty much recently built, so everything like is really well planned out, and everything like got a purpose. And the fun thing is to see everyone going all around the path that'll be the elevated one and just hanging around. It feels pretty natural and it feels like it's part of the city, and that's something I pretty much like.
It looks so, yeah, it looks so like realistic just having everybody walking around. You did the invisible paths really well. I don't mess with those myself that much because I'm not building insane stuff like this, but yeah, I love how you integrated this next to the freeway with all the retaining walls and stuff. It looks really good, and this is a build that I never did. I didn't like the way I ended up building this area before this was imported, and I think this fixed this part of the city, and it added so much to the project. I can't even state it. Definitely check out MrChoco in the description of the video.
There's a full tour of this area I built with you.
yeah, we're going to record a full tour of it right after this, so check that out if you want to see this more in detail and context. Excellent job to MrChoco for building this, but now it's on to the next collab build of the 3 collab builds in this video. Next, we're going to be talking with WhataWhiff about his amazing stadium district, redoing the stadium district that we built earlier in the series, making it much better. So let's get straight into that. All right, welcome WhataWhiff to the channel. Want to tell us what you do on your own channel?
Hey everybody, first of all, I'm glad to be here on your channel, Prez. But right now, my series is called Dragon's Gate. It's kind of a tale of 2 cities. Right now, I'm working on the northern city, which is loosely based off of Shenzhen, China. Later on down the track here in probably a few months, to be honest, I'll probably work on the, I guess you could say, southern city, which is more loosely based off of Singapore. And I'm only a few episodes into it right now. I haven't even really started building much of the city itself. It's just been kind of a Central Park thing as of, when we're recording this. And it's a ton of fun.
It's a really interesting project. I highly recommend checking it out. But yeah, so here you did something more American.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what you basically did here is you went and took my stadium district, the monorail that I built a while ago, and made it what it should have been from the start. I had no idea what to build here, but you sort of took it and took an area that probably had warehouses here before, and then added a whole new modern sports complex. But you also left all of this really cool, somewhat abandoned industry, which I really love.
Yeah, so when I first got into the city, I wasn't really sure what exactly I was going to do, but then I saw this district and I was just I was totally inspired. And I went and looked around in Seattle, first of all, on Google Maps, and right across from Safeco Field is, and whatever the other stadium is, I don't remember the name of it right now. It's just all these not abandoned, but they're transformed into commercial storefronts. And it's right across the street from essentially a newer stadium. Both of those stadiums they're built in the last 30 years, so they're fairly new. But then what I did was I kind of expanded on that idea a bit, and I actually took a lot of inspiration from Atlanta, Georgia, where they have the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium and Truist Park up for the Atlanta Braves in Cobb County. And they have this whole stadium district thing, and I think it looked really cool, and it actually fits pretty well when I put it into this, or when I put that idea into this city. And I love the way it turned out.
Yeah, me too. Thanks so much for coming on and building. Make sure to check out WhataWhiff's channel in the description if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for contributing to the city.
Yep, loved it.
Excellent job to WhataWhiff on this build. When I built this district, I didn't know exactly what to do, but then WhataWhiff comes back and completely revamps the entire place, making it exactly like it should have been from the beginning, and I totally love it. So thanks for revamping this district, WhataWhiff. Excellent build. Now it's time to move on to the mall that DesignCandy has designed for us. All right, welcome DesignCandy to the channel. You want to introduce yourself, tell us what you're doing on your own channel?
Yeah, so my name is DesignCandy. I currently have 2 series. One's called Hawthorne Springs. It's a city skylines, big time downtown series. And the second one is called Cranberry County. It's set in a rural county type area.
Yeah, really awesome stuff. I've been watching your videos for a long time, and I mean, the one main memory I have of you is when you got Southwest to retweet your screenshot of a Southwest plane in game, and they didn't know it. That was pretty funny. But yeah, so you've built us a huge mall here. You want to tell us about this, where you took inspiration from, why you decided to build it where you did? Because it's actually decently close to downtown.
Yeah, so 2 things about this mall, which was super interesting. So when I got the files from you, I saw this point right off of it's a river, or I think it's the river, and it just stuck out a little bit, just with the scenery and then the foliage that you already had there. And as far as the inspiration, I really took inspiration from a modern mall that was redeveloped. That was the goal for me. So having a new style mall with the outdoor outdoor portion, as you can see now, but also having the old school type mall where you used to go to. You know, some of the things are still kind of abandoned, but some of those malls in America still exist. So that was the main point of emphasis here.
Yeah, and I love all this whole like modern promenade. Like, it's really cool. I was really surprised when you built this, but this totally looks like something that was recently redeveloped. You've also got like construction on the map. One thing I really liked that you did is you used this department store building on the left there by Ronix, and then the Hampton Inn, which both were those curved corner buildings, and you turned that into that looks really, really cool. And I love all the detailing you added here. When I imported this, it like Vanilla Trees Remover like left the trees on the side, but it actually doesn't look that bad. Like, I actually sort of like it with more foliage like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love the transition with those sky bridges between the old and the new.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a goal. Man, that was the big thing, looking at Google Maps and looking at just older malls that still exist that have this type of style, because I don't know a lot of people that are going inside of a mall nowadays, but having that outside
especially
portion,
considering 2020.
Exactly. And so at that outdoor mall was really the big piece. It was almost a little secondary from the big mall. I'm like, yeah, the big mall's fine, but the outdoor is the key.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for coming onto the channel. Thanks so much for contributing. You filled a lot of space here with all these parking lots, but I love the build, and definitely check out DesignCandy's channel in the description, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Excellent job to DesignCandy, WhataWhiff, and MrChoco for their amazing builds in the city. I'm really happy we got to feature those before taking a break from the series. I know it was a little weird having 3 collab builds in one video, but I think it worked out pretty well. Anyway, this episode we accomplished a lot. We filled in gaps that really needed to be filled in really badly. That space that I should have filled in a while ago, and I wasn't exactly sure how to work around that interchange, but I like it. I like how the interchange leaves some open space. I can't talk. I'm combining words right now. But yeah, okay, look at this. There's Freeway Park there, or what we're calling a High Garden, MrChoco's build. And that district over there, the sort of high rises by the freeway, that's the first part of the video that we worked on. I needed to fill that area. I wasn't sure exactly what with, but I'm pretty happy with that. Now we have the area in between Chinatown and Gilmour Hill / Central Park. It is getting pretty gentrified. It's got some older buildings, but then also some newer buildings. I like the balance there, and I think the density transitions super well. And there's some high rises just randomly interspersed in there along the main roads, because I want to have the sort of appearance that main road's getting sort of upzoned, and the area generally, but mostly the main road. But yeah, wow, look at that. The city is looking so complete now. There are only a couple areas in the map that we really need to work on right near downtown, and then downtown will be complete. But anyway, let's get out of the overview and onto ground level. Here's the road going sort of downhill from the High Garden build from MrChoco, the Freeway Park area. We got some ambulances going there. We also have, I did this off camera, but this sort of retaining wall area for like next to the railroad down here. I wasn't exactly sure how to do this. There was just a road that was going along here that was really, really high up, and it looked like the perfect spot for a retaining wall, so I used Revo's retaining walls. And the road itself is one of Kluss's amazing new American roads, which you have to check out if you're building an American city. Like, those should be a staple of your American cities now. They're so well done. And yeah, I love them. And then here is, I've shown you this sort of rail intersection. It's not an intersection, but we got the light rail up above, and then you have the freight and passenger shared rail down below. And it looks so good. It's so satisfying seeing the trains go by at the same time. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave a like on the video, because then YouTube will be like, oh wow, you like this video, maybe we should show you more of this. So that helps out a ton. It helps you as well, finding the videos. Yeah, definitely follow me on Twitter as well. That's in the description. You'll get updates on where Columbia City's at. And if you want to support me, you can buy me a coffee with a one-time donation. That'd be highly appreciated. You could buy me a couple coffees even, whatever you want to do. Or you could support me monthly. If you want to commit to a monthly donation and get some perks, that is pretty awesome. Just $1 and you can get early access to videos that are ad-free. whenever I finish them, so that's pretty cool. You could also get your name in the credits, shoutouts, save games, even calls with me, that's a thing. That's all on Patreon in the description. Quick shout out to some patrons before we go. Forrest Corbett, Robinson Griffin, Steve Gordon, Logan DeHoyos, and Asher Joseph. Thank you all so much for being patrons, and thank you everybody, whether you're a patron or not, for supporting the channel and watching and contributing to the comments. Highly appreciated, but yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for a brand new series.